Hey there, baseball fans. Tim Lowry from Backfields Media with you once again for our eMLB Top 10 right now right fielders. This was an exciting list to put together. Maybe some questions, some controversy. Put what you feel in the chat down below. Hit us up on Discord. Say what you'd like to see in the future. There are a lot of plans for Backfields Media. We've got the World Baseball Classic going on. A lot of things happening. It's an exciting time. eMLB is branching out in a million different directions, and it's exciting. But let's turn right to what we're talking about now, which is our top 10 right fielders. And let's go to number 10. Number 10 is Philadelphia Phillies right fielder Smitty Lyon. Hit 239, 305 on base, 476 slugging. He's a plus power bat, exceptional defense. If this was an NBA player, it'd be he could shoot threes and play defense, because that's kind of what we're looking at here. He has good contact. He's average at the very least, with good avoid Ks, but it just has translated well to a decent batting average, but the power numbers more than make up for it. He's got a BABIP of 241, so he can be kind of tricked into making some weak contact, but otherwise doing phenomenal. Getting more playing time now, kind of a bigger part of the Phillies' plans. And we always do things where we look at the batting splits and also do player comparisons for these players. Couple of things that popped out of his batting splits. You see he hit 35 homers in the course of the season. 17 of those homers were hit when he was behind in the count. So this is not a player who's just looking to make contact. He's got supreme confidence in his abilities. And the scouts really saw in his makeup that ability to, regardless of where he's at in there, he's treating it all like it's an 0-0 count. It's just excellent work ethic, tremendous talent. One other thing that I found was interesting, he hits 350 lifetime against Bruce Wayne. And does that make Smitty Lyon our next supervillain? Don't know, but thought that was an interesting and funny kind of thing that was happening there. Now, who does he closely compare to? Compares to Juan P.A., Michael Conforto in terms of like where he's at right now at age 25, and also Kelly Harper, who's a right fielder for Cleveland. Smitty Lyon is our number 10 right fielder in all of eMLB right now. And yeah, you may notice we're rocking some merch. Shout out to Witchy Hockey Mom. There'll be a link in the bottom that you can go to. You can get some eMLB merch or anything else that strikes your fancy. Wanted to give them a shout out because some really cool stuff in that catalog. Let's go to number 9. Speaking of Cleveland right fielder, Kelly Harper is our number 9 right fielder in all of baseball right now. Similar results to Lyon, 252, 338, 422 slash line. Slightly better rate stats than Lyon. Profile has, some glaring issues if you're a scout. Contact is a little below average. The BABIP's a little below average. But it is the power and eye combined that really give him offensive capabilities, as well as the speed, above average speed. He's an excellent defender, tremendous as far as catching the ball and not making errors. As looking at his career, his batting eye has improved quite a bit. His walk rate, seeing an uptick in the number of pitches that he's been seeing per plate appearance. So he is definitely getting better with the offense and providing kind of a more well-rounded profile here for that. Do like his power. He's going to be hitting around 18 to 20 home runs. I expect that to go up as he gets older. In high leverage situations is where Kelly Harper really shines. He had a 138 OPS, definitely more than held his own in critical situations. That speaks a lot to how much Cleveland trusts him. They put him in right field. He's 128 games for the season. They like him. And he's relatively young, still in his ARB years. So we're going to see him at or near his peak in the next couple of seasons. Be curious to see what he turns into. He comps very closely to a guy for the Cardinals in the mid-2000s by the name of Chris Duncan. Very much that similar. It's like nothing really stands out, but then he's always in the thick of it when the game is on the line. Duncan was a lot like that. Also, former Baltimore slugger Mike Young from the 80s. Some of us older folks might remember him. But Kelly Harper is our number 9 right fielder in all of eMLB right now. And let's go to number 8. And we've got another CCP, our second so far, and that is the Miami Marlins Leland Sunder. Sunder, as you can see from the stats, about average as a hitter, not the slugging numbers that you would expect to see on a top 10 list, granted. Extremely good defensively in English, and average to slightly above average in speed. Why he makes this list? The durability, played 150 games, the great defense, and also in the postseason, did very well. Hit 281 with a 361 on base in the postseason. Seemed to be on base a lot for Miami. Kind of sums up Miami all by himself. Good player, getting better, sky's the limit. The contact being where it is, I can't help but think that he is going to have a breakout season relatively soon and start delivering with some average, maybe a little bit more pop and drive. If he can get on base a lot, then that will really help. Leland Sunder is a good player, could potentially be great. He's much better at home. Across the board on the slash line, it's 90 to 100 points up above what he does on the road. So really impressive in front of the Miami fans. He comps to James Mouton and Tony Kemp, and also former Reds All-Star, if you're again in the 70s and 80s, Reds All-Star, Dave Collins. And I can really see that. Lots of slashing doubles and singles and some stolen bases and good defense. Collins was a kind of a mainstay of those late 70s, early 80s Reds teams. Leland Sunder is our number 8 right fielder in all of eMLB right now. And let's go to number 7. And it is the Tampa Bay Rays, Joey Chestnut. Now we're getting into the portion of this top 10 list where we're not seeing as many deficiencies. We're seeing some really great all-around talent. Chestnut is that. Classic 5-tool star, can do everything. Better with the gap power than just the raw home runs, but you can see, according to the two-tone on his profile, that's about to change. He's going to grow into his power, as you can see. He's in his age 24 season. He'll be entering his second full season this coming year. A bit of a road warrior. OPS of 823 on the road. completely the opposite of what we're seeing in a lot of these guys who do so much better at home. One of the things that the scouts here questioned, and we were looking at in the stat line, he really struggles on turf. And Tampa plays on artificial turf. And it's kind of odd that a guy with great contact and great speed and all of that, the game doesn't translate well to turf. So maybe it's kind of a 1-year thing and maybe an adjustment period. It's one of the things I'll be watching about him that's going forward. But Jaws has the ability to become a consistent 300 hitter, 40 doubles, kind of up high in the lineup, steal a few bases. He's got the tools to overcome what struggles he does have. He's been struggling a bit with high leverage situations too, but most of the scouts feel that's just a factor of the relative immaturity in baseball. So it's kind of a little bit all over the place in terms of what a profile would look like, but just the raw talent alone has me thinking that Joey Chestnut's going to be a star for Tampa for some time to come. He is our number 7 eMLB player right now in right field. And who does he comp to? Comps to Rob Refsnyder, current eMLB player Jack Elliott, and in terms of age, where he's at in his 24 year, former Padres player Will Myers. Will with 1 L. And I can really see that with him. And especially with you can kind of see he's about to break out. We tag him as an up-and-coming star here among the CCPs. We think he's going to truly blossom over the next couple of seasons and become quite a candidate for lots of awards and things of that nature. Joey Chestnut at number 7. Let's go to number 6. Number 6 is New York Mets slugger Dan Snyder. Dan, 2 full seasons under his belt now in eMLB. 285, 361, 407 slash line. Average to slightly above average batting tools. The contact's been really good. He makes the most out of that. Can steal. Only thing keeping him from being a 5-tool player is the power. More of a gap hitter than home runs. Still draws a lot of walks. Cut the strikeout rate down extremely well this past season. Has good speed. Could potentially be a little too aggressive in some situations. Some of our scouts thought he took off a little inadvisedly in certain situations. Was a Gold Glove winner in 2029 in his rookie season. And you can see by his profile, he's plus in defense. Handles all 3 categories extremely well. Has a very good arm, which is basically a necessity in right field. In high leverage situations is where he really stood out. He had a 921 OPS. Just an excellent hitter. Excellent hitter with a 146 WRC plus. And again, much like his compatriot over in left field that we talked about, Joe Moody, a couple of episodes ago, this is a guy who is going to relish being in the big city, having the big star power. Every game's a big game and talked about. Snyder's going to fit right in there and has the ability to improve. We're looking forward to seeing him. His comps, he's a bit of a throwback player with his profile and the lack of emphasis on power. And sure enough, Hal Peck and Buzz Boyle from the 1930s were what he comped to most closely. At this age, he also comps to Chris Coughlin who was a Rookie of the Year for the Marlins many years ago. So Dan Snyder is our number 6 right fielder in all of eMLB right now. And let's go to number 5. Number 5, with the White Sox, Pedro Serrano. What a talent. I just love this player. 254, 334, 513 slugging. Has a plus power bat. Had a bit of a down year in Pittsburgh. Got traded from Seattle. Was a big deal. And don't know whether it was an adjustment period. Could have been a thing for switching over from the American to the National League. But that's not usually a big thing anymore due to the balanced schedule. But he really caught fire, got traded in the offseason, and was there, provided some great leadership. He, just like all the White Sox, seemed to be, when James LeBlanc came over, everybody just kind of kicked it into a higher gear, had a tremendous second half. He's got average speed. He's a plus defender, and that's something that you don't tend to think of as much with Serrano. I always just think of the home run hitting, and the voodoo rituals. But the fielding is just incredible. He's got a great arm. He's learning to take more pitches, seeing his pitches per at bat climbing. The thing that I marveled at looking at his total stats, he's age 28. He's got 356 home runs. So he's got a chance, when all is said and done, to be up there with Aaron and Bonds and Mike Trout. He could challenge for the all-time home run leadership in all of eMLB. It's going to be interesting to see how he does. He is a free agent after this season. Does he get re-signed? He could be a very interesting free agent candidate in next year's offseason. We'll see. He's been a 6-time All-Star in 8 years. I don't see that changing anytime soon. He comes to a lot of famous names in baseball. Edgar Barrios and Danny Diaz, who you may or may not see soon on the third base list. Ralph Kiner, slugger for the Pirates back many years ago. Roger Maris, well known for his 61 home run season in 1961. And by age, the last 2 years, he has comped extremely closely to Ken Griffey Jr. So Pedro Serrano definitely up in the high rent district when it comes to baseball history. And he is our number 5 right fielder in all of eMLB right now. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 is James Bond, right fielder for the Seattle Mariners. 288, 376, 440 slash line, had 129 OPS plus. Kind of a shock how really good he is. 5-tool player, kind of sneaks up on you. Not one of the more talked about CCPs in our league, and surprisingly, the best thing in his profile is his eye. And it isn't just the walks, although he does get a lot. He's got like 70-plus walks a year. But it contributes also to a BABIP around 344. And for career, his BABIP's 329, which means that if he's going to take a swing at it, he's more than likely going to hit it, and it's going to be a high-value swing. He hits the ball hard. He is an elite right fielder. Incredible range, decent arm, above decent arm, let's face it. Grades very highly as a right fielder. The speed is good. It's a plus speed. Contact, he's got room to grow. This is a guy who's going to end up, I feel, hitting 300 with 30 doubles and 30 homers. Every year you'll be able to just pencil it in. He hit second in the lineup for Seattle, And one of the things in his batting splits that really popped out at me was how good he does close late game situations. He's got a 146 OPS plus. He delivers. He's been a really quiet player. Um, not a whole lot said. He's got a couple of rings with Pittsburgh, but a tremendous talent. It's going to be exciting to see what he becomes as he just grows into this profile. I love the combo of him, and we talked about Jeff Wallach at first base for Seattle in the first base top 10. Seattle's quietly building something there, and they could be very dangerous. They've certainly got some good hitters in the heart of their lineup. He comps to a couple of players that were favorites of mine in the 70s. Otto Velez, who was over in the early Jays teams when they first came in the league, and Mitchell Page of the Oakland A's back in the late 70s was one of my favorite players when I was first getting into baseball. Also comps at this age very well to a young Jason Hayward, which says a lot. Again, a 5-tool player. I really think he is going to surpass Hayward as he continues to mature. I think he's got the skill to do it. Plus, he's a CCP. James Bond is our number 4 right fielder in eMLB right now. And let's go to number 3. And our number 3 right fielder is Andrew Alexander, the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. Andrew had his best season since 2027. He had 295, slugged 548. You see in that 2027 year, he peaked. He had 47 homers, 192 hits. Was just kind of all world at that point. Don't know if that was an outlier or not. He certainly struggled to kind of get back to that level. Backfield's media feels like this, where he was last year and kind of where he is now, is where he's going to ultimately pan out, which is certainly nothing to sneeze at. 30 doubles, 30 homers, plus contact, above average power, plus defense, really good arm. The speed isn't there, but it really doesn't need to be there. It's not really a part of his game. He's more than capable of delivering. He's improved the quality of his contact over the last 3 years. Again, the 2027 season was phenomenal, but then he has just improved it steadily. With 2 outs, he is so difficult to make him the third out. He had a 172 OPS plus. Struggled a little bit with high leverage situations that came up in the splits. He hit 5th more often than not, but he has some pretty impressive cleanup hitter numbers too. Small sample, but he's not afraid of pressure situations and can deliver. He compares to another CCP, Mark Diggs of Washington Nationals, very well. Compares also to former Brewers star John Jaha, and by age compares to Anthony Rizzo at that time of the Cubs. Andrew Alexander is the number 3 right fielder in all of eMLB right now. All right, we're down to our top 2. Let's see who our number 2 right fielder is. It is newly minted Philadelphia Phillies hitter Rob Deere. It was a surprising and a huge trade that happened to begin this offseason, one of many that Philly has made. Deere has been a phenomenal hitter for the Dodgers. You see the last 4 years there, plays every day, extremely durable, extremely efficient, and just, 30 homers, 30 doubles. Slugged 513 last year, so a little bit off of his peak year in 2029. but has a full complement of hitting tools. His power is his best feature. A plus defender in right field. I know it's a shock that the Phillies would covet somebody's defense. The thing is, though, Chavez Ravine is a pretty good hitter's park. Citizens Bank, much better hitter's park. Rob Deere is going to challenge for some MVP votes, I feel like. I could see him hitting 40 plus routinely in Philly. He's still in his ARB years. Be curious to see what he does on the extension right. Philly has time to make that decision, though. They don't have to rush. 297 hitter, that's going to keep going up. One of the things I saw in the batting splits, on the first pitch, he hit 10 homers. So you're not going to sneak a strike past him. He compares 8 of the 9 players he compares most closely to are CCPs. You've got names like Slambino, Barry Bonds up in the top of that list. And how is this for a cool twist? The player he compares to at age 24, closer than anybody, former Phillies legend Bryce Harper. Rob Deere is our number 2 right fielder in all of eMLB right now. And that brings us to our number 1 right fielder. And I got to tell you, it wasn't even close. Kyler Murray for Toronto is our number 1 right fielder. Wow. 5 tools and then some. Almost would have to invent another tool for him. He's one of the best players in eMLB, period. Our scouting team ranks him very highly. Everything. He's plus in eye, plus speed, exceptional defense, great contact. Just 25 years old, already has 137 RBIs, has led the league in walks. The BABIP shows up because it's the only green in a sea of blue here, or aqua. And so you're like, well, that's a 357 BABIP. So, that's not the weakness you might think it is. A phenomenal talent, works hard, has continually improved each year, just feels like a phenomenal player and Hall of Famer in the making. It says something when your arbitration salary is $21 million. Yeah, that's Kyler Murray. From the 4th to 6th innings, like second time through the lineup, once he faced a pitcher at least once, had a 217 OPS. So quick study, learns really well. We'll be curious to see how, with that stacked Toronto team, just how much of a factor he will continue to be and what a star he's going to be. He is another one who, compared to CCPs up and down the line, the only other player in his comp list that wasn't a CCP was Bracamontes, who's now his teammate. In terms of age, compared extremely well to Shane Rodecker and Albert Pujols. So a couple of current Cardinals greats and a previous legend in Pujols. Kyler Murray is our number 1 right fielder in all of eMLB right now. So how does that compare to your list? Put in the comments what you think. Maybe it put somebody way too high. Maybe somebody you don't think should have been in the top 10, or maybe we missed somebody. Please let us know. Also hit us up in the Discord. If you love baseball and you're curious about one of the best baseball video games on the planet, Out of the Park, come on over to Twitch and check out the FKN Commish LB channel. Every Tuesday and Thursday night, we have a game of the night. Sundays at 10 a.m. for Coffee with the Commish. We play around 2 seasons a year, so it's very easy to keep up. And it's exciting. Also have the official eMLB Universe channel over on YouTube that you can subscribe to. It's just a great, great league. So until next time, when we are talking about third baseman in eMLB, I'm Tim Lowry with Backfields Media. Hoping you have a great day, and we'll see you then.